I made over $15,000 last month in sports betting, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you could do the same this month. The first thing I want to talk about here is implied probability. All right, so implied probability. What is that? Okay, that means what's the percent of the play that you're going to play, the odds to the percent that it has of hitting. So for example, let's say a minus 200 play has an implied probability of 66%. Okay, so when you find that out, you have this sectioned off. Now, what you want to find and what I was able to find, this is exactly how I was able to be successful throughout that month, is the true probability. Okay, the true probability has nothing to do with the odds. So what the true probability is let's say that minus 200 play, but you look further into it and you find out that that minus 200 play, the true probability behind that is actually 70%. What does that mean? That means that now that play that you're looking at is giving you a plus 4% edge. That is how you're able to beat the sports books, is playing plays like this. Now, a lot of people are scared of plays that are minus 200 because they say, oh, minus 200, minus 250, any of that, it's too much juice. They're scared of playing the juice. But that does not come into account when you find these types of plays, okay? Because if you're hitting at minus 200 at 70 plus percentage, you are going to what? Profit, no matter what, okay? You're going to profit if you are hitting 70% at minus 200 plays. If you're betting minus 250 plays and you're hitting 73% or more, you're profiting. Okay? If you're doing minus 300 plays and you're hitting above 75%, guess what? You are profiting. So do not be scared of the big numbers that you might see, because this is what the biggest misconception is in sports betting, is staying away from these numbers. No, these numbers are what's going to give you the best shot at winning. But not just blindly playing them. Because sometimes what people will do is they'll go blindly play a minus 200 because they think it has a 66% probability of winning, which it does, implied. But true probability means, what if you looked further into it and actually only has a 55% shot at winning? What happens there? Now you gave yourself a negative 11% edge. Okay? That is what you do not want to do. You don't want to find negative edge plays. When you find negative edge plays, that is where you're going to lose all your money. So negative edge is not what we want. We want positive edge. So make sure you're looking for positive edge between implied probability and true probability. Now, how do we find that? Okay, let's say, for example, since it's MLB season, let's say Mike Trout. All right, let's say Mike Trout to get 1+ hit. Let's say his odds are minus 210. Okay, so an implied probability of about like 67% there. Now, let's say we go and look at his matchup for the day. Okay, let's say the pitcher that he's playing is no good. All right, especially against Mike Trout. Let's say that Mike Trout bats 600 in 10 at-bats against that pitcher. So what does that mean? That means we got a favorable matchup here now, okay? We have a favorable matchup. The implied probability might not be exactly what that implies. So now if we go and look up, well, let's see, how many times did Trout, was he able to get a hit in a game throughout the last season, the last couple seasons or whatnot? Let's see what that probability turns out to be. Let's say that probability turns out to be 72%. Now we have a good matchup for him and a true probability of 72%, giving us a plus 5% edge. So what do? We go and we place that bet. Why? Because we do have a great probability-wise, true probability-wise, of being able to make money on this play along with a good matchup. Where people come into a mistake at is they just take the overall stats here. They don't take into account what's going on and who he's facing. They just take the overall. So let's say he's going against an ace pitcher that he bats, let's say he bats only 100 against that pitcher. And let's say that pitcher is good, okay? But then you go and look and you still got that 72% probability, true probability, but you don't have that matchup necessarily. Yes, on paper with numbers, maybe that makes sense and it gives you that edge, but the intangible of him going against a good pitcher that he doesn't bat well against, you have to take that into account. So that's how you're able to find these plays. This is an example for MLB because, like I said, MLB just started, so you guys can kind of use this so that way you could see how that works. But that is what you have to take into account. You cannot just take the overall stuff. Okay, you have to look deeper into a play. You have to. That is a must. Each play that I put in, I look further and further in detail and use the software and the AI that I have developed. I don't just go out there and take the overall and think that it's going to hit because that's not how it works. Okay, so you have to understand it's very important to dig deep into a play to find the true probability of what's going to happen. Now let's talk about the odds aspect of why people are always scared of playing these odds. As I'm going to show you, you guys are going to see that all the odds that I've played mostly were above minus 200. Okay, but for an example, let's say I've used this analogy before in another video, so hopefully you guys understand this one. Okay, let's say that somebody comes up to you on the street. They have 8 cups. Okay? Excuse me. They have actually 10 cups. And there's actually 8 balls in those cups. All right? And they say, if you give them $100 and you pick a cup that has a ball in it, they're going to give you 50 back. So what are you going to get? You're going to get 150 total. Okay? That means what? You have an 80% chance of picking a cup with a ball in it. So what are we doing here? We're going to obviously keep taking that, right? We're going to keep rolling with that because you have an 80% chance there to get this right here. What this means is pretty much a minus 200. Okay? Because you put down $100 on minus 200, you get $50 back. Now, you replicate this process over and over and over. What's going to happen? You are going to obviously lose one of the times, right? So let's say the next one, like I said, the same stuff here. There's 8 balls, 10 cups. Let's say you pick the wrong one. There's 2 cups that don't have a ball in it and you pick the wrong one. You lost $100, okay? So this first time you won 50, but then next time you pick the wrong one, you lost 100. So now you're down $50, okay? The next one, you end up picking the right one. Okay, you get 50. So now what are you at? You're at even. The next one, you pick the right one. Now you're back up 50. The next one, you pick the right one. Now you're back up to 100. Okay? So this is how this works. This is the example that I'm giving you guys here. Okay? You will be successful as long as you stay consistent and you are finding these type of plays that give these type of percentages. Because overall, yes, you might lose one and it might take a couple to regain what you lost, but over the long term, you're going to win way more than you're going to lose, and you're going to get these small increments where they're going to keep adding up. Okay? Just like that. Keep adding up. Okay? Because once in a while, you will take a loss, but you're going to win way more, and that is where it's going to add up. And I'm going to show you guys in my bet tracker exactly how that works and how I've been able to do that, like I said, throughout the whole entire last month and for the last 5 or 6 years. Because people want to make you believe that you must play these type of plays to make money. And guess what? They are completely wrong. Completely wrong. All right? They are completely wrong. Anybody that tells you that is not sharp. They are not a sharp. There is no sharps out there, okay? There really isn't. There's people that think they know what they're doing, and there's only a very, very few that actually know what they're doing, because most of the people that I talk to, even in this sports betting space, none of them understand this way, and it's been profitable for 5, 10 years, showing people how to do this, and other people have replicated this. But your average sports bettor knows nothing about this and does not get how this works, because in their brain, it doesn't make sense to put up $100 and only get $50 back and to be able to make a total. All right? They think they should be putting up 100 to get 200, but that is not how that works, okay? Because, for example, in the stock market, an investor, if they put $50,000 into a stock and they make $2,000 in that month, they are completely happy. A gambler puts $50,000 into a stock market, they expect $50,000 profit in that month, and if they don't, they're disappointed. That is the different mindset that you have to understand. There's two different mindsets in here, all right? Two different mindsets. One's gambling and one is investing. You need to be the investor and not the gambler. The gambler is just doing this for action and wants a quick double up. The investor wants to put a decent amount of money into it and expect a smaller return because they understand smaller returns add up through compound interest. Now let's hop over into the bet tracker so I could show you guys just a little example of last month with the odds, with the profit, and show you exactly how everything I just showed you on the whiteboard kind of gets put all together. All right, so I want you to take a look here. This is just the spreads, money lines, and totals that I was tracking through. Honestly, this was mostly from the Linemaker AI, okay? And we produced 7 units last month and hit 78.57%. So that was 7,000 that came from that. Look at the odds, just like I showed you guys. Minus 200s. Maybe there's a couple that are minus like 180 in there, but mostly are minus 200, minus 220 and above. But like I said, when you hit a percentage like this, what happens? You profit. Okay, let's go ahead and let me show you the next one. This right here is the prop bets that had probabilities between 55 to 69%. We hit the exact same percentage, which is insane to be honest. It's pretty crazy, okay? Hitting the exact same percentage there, but a little bit less unit gain. Reason why is because there was less plays. Okay, but still 3.32 unit gain made over 3 grand there. Okay, just off of those prop plays. Again, look at the odds on the prop plays. This is 100% possible playing at these odds. You just have to be consistent. It's really all it comes down to. It comes down to being consistent. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the 70% and above player props. Okay, as you can see here, 80% exactly. Gained 4.49 units. A little bit over 4 grand. So when you put them all together, like I just showed you guys, you put all these together, what do we get? We get almost 15 units and make a little bit over 15 grand. Okay? That is what you get by staying consistent, finding the true probability plays compared to implied probability and running those consistently and being able to run those consistently. Look at the odds here. Most people are so scared to play anything like this. Oh my God, if there's a minus 200, people they run away. They don't know what to do. Guess what? Play those all day long. All day long. And guess what? The person that's scared to play these, they're negative 4,400 while I made 4,400. Okay? So don't listen to the world out there that tells you need those plus money, those minus 110s or whatnot. This is how you actually win with sports betting long term. You don't sit there and try to beat 53 or 54% at minus 110 because it'll never happen, because most of the implied probability versus true probability is negative on the minus 110 plays. So that is how you will lose long term. Now, it's not just me that's doing this. All right, obviously, like I said, I'm teaching others how to do this and showing. And look at all these people that literally do video recordings of exactly how successful they are from playing those type of odds. People think it's crazy, but yet, guess what? These people actually took the leap and literally learned how to do it and were completely shocked. Okay? I could keep going on. The list goes on. The reviews go on. They speak for themselves. Look at here. Look at this guy hitting 77%, 78%. They're all on the same wavelength. Okay? As long as you understand how to do this the correct way, you will be successful long term. That is all it is to it. If you replicate exactly what I show you in my YouTube videos, if you're a part of my group, if you're in there and you learn exactly how to do this the correct way, you are going to make money. You are going to learn how to beat the sports books consistently and also not get banned from them, because that's a big thing. You don't want to get banned. Okay? If you get banned from the sports book, that's your lifeline and you're donezo. Got to learn how to navigate and be successful through doing all of that stuff. Now make sure you guys click the link down in the description if you want to work with me and you want me to show you exactly everything that I just portrayed, showed you on the whiteboard, and learn exactly how to profit long term. And remember, if you know your edge, then every bet becomes a winning opportunity.